Hello, everyone. I am Mariah. I'm back with another podcast. I am going to kind of put a little warning here. If you have any sensitivity to hearing topics about childhood adversity, childhood trauma, go ahead and kind of tune out now if this isn't something that you are comfortable listening to. I will link the article that I'm talking about and getting information from in the description so that you can take a look at it yourself. But with that, I am going to get started. I will start with out of all adverse childhood experiences, child abuse may affect adult health more than any other family dysfunction that may be in family. This study was kind of done over a 25-year span of collecting data of childhood adversity. And a lot of it has been linked to early first births or a first child outside of marriage. Some of the topics that they're talking about as child adversity would be emotional neglect, physical and sexual abuse, alcohol abuse, having someone in the home with a mental illness, parental absence or parental death, and even drug usage. Some of these exposures can affect emotional regulation, cause impulsivity, cause a lack of ability to formulate intimate relationships and ties. Studies have linked this also to risky sexual behavior and unintended early pregnancy. And the study has shown that these links of these activities have caused health problems later in life. With that being said, some of the topics in here also cover the fact that having some form of childhood adversity or abuse can also be linked to cancer. And for women, it's more of a risk than it has been of men. For men, it's emotional abuse is the number one linked abuse that has been shown to link to cancer. For women, it actually said that physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, having alcoholic parents or parents that are addicted to drugs, living with someone who has a mental illness had higher associated risks of cancer. Let's see here, because there was something else I wanted to read to y'all out of here, so I'm going to actually pull up the article real quick. We all hear that like higher incomes can also have some sort of buffer in the health effects of or any form. Yeah, it has a buffer when it comes to health for the most part. Higher incomes, according to this article, may have a buffer of health effects on early adversity for women. They found that higher levels of childhood adversity increase the odds of reporting one or more chronic diseases. After taking into account age, race, ethnicity, marital status, education, and income, each unit increased the number of adversities experienced corresponded to about 10% increased odds of reporting one or more chronic diseases. Having an income that was at least twice the poverty level buffered the adult health impacts on the childhood adversity. That was a direct quote from the article. Some of these health effects that they're talking about is diabetes, high cholesterol. Those were the main two chronic conditions that were linked to family adversity in the article, which pointed to more of like a dietary difference between the income levels. This is another direct quote. High levels of cortisol, stress hormone, are linked to health problems, but studies have shown that having a stable, supportive caregivers can buffer or prevent elevated cortisol in response to distressing situations. The researchers suggest expanding family support services could reduce parental stress and improve parenting skills for socioeconomically disadvantaged families, potentially offsetting the impacts of family adversity on children and children's later health. Okay, I'm done with the direct quotes now. But that being said, I'm not going to go too much deeper into the article. I will link it so that y'all can read it for yourselves. I am going to talk about some other stuff, though. Where I'm going with having given you the information from these articles is, well, this article itself is because I'm going to go down and talk about childhood trauma and childhood adversity and generational trauma in later videos and podcasts that I'm going to be doing for y'all. And if there is more in-depth areas that y'all would like me to discuss and do a little bit more research on and come back with a podcast for y'all, feel free to leave that in the comments on the video. I myself am a survivor of very many different forms of child abuse. I dealt with years of sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and even physical abuse, I would go to say as well. So those aspects definitely do affect the way that I parent my children, and I'm very much so more mindful of who I have around my children because of those forms of trauma that I have dealt with. I will go on to talk about some of that stuff in more detail later if y'all want, but if y'all want to hear my stories on those topics, be mindful that I will not be mentioning names, and even if you were to Google about me, you're not going to find anything due to the fact that I was a child and they were protecting me. So my name was left out of stuff, and it's a shut case. With that being said, I will let y'all know that I will also cover topics over warning signs for abuse in children, because we do need to, I feel like in those circumstances, a lot of things could have been stopped a lot sooner for me had there been a lot more talk about what are the warning signs in children for abuse. I feel like these are things that parents should know. Teachers definitely will know because that's a topic that is supposed to be covered. So with that being said, I will cover some of those topics with y'all if that is something that y'all want to hear about. Even if it's not, I'm still going to probably cover it anyways because I want parents to know what those warning signs are so they can protect their children, because it's not always parents that are the ones doing the abuse. It could be somebody else in the family. It could be somebody that you know, a friend, because a lot of the times it is somebody that you know that is doing the abuse. So with that being said, I will leave y'all here, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day. I know this was a very kind of dark topic and a very quick little podcast, but if there are topics that go along with those that I'm talking about with y'all, or questions you may have, leave them in the comments. I will do my best to respond to them. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.